everyone. If you could please check out my Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Fridays, I'd appreciate it. If you could also check out my If Then on Friday. If you like this author, then maybe you like that author. We started out with the Bridgertons, Julia Quinn's Bridgertons. If you like them, maybe you like Catherine Coulter Sherbrooke's, Joanna Lindsay's Mallory's, Stephanie Lawrence Sisters. We did forensics, we did homicide, we did mystery, we did men in kilts, we did vampires, we did werewolves. And recently I did time travel. If you like Outlander, then maybe you like these books. And I even got a book to read, a small series. It's only about 6 books right now. But I am enjoying the heck out of the series. It is just awesome. So if you could go check out my Julie McQuinn videos, I would very much appreciate it. And so my daily book reviews, and of course, Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books in this magazine. So, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects going on here. What you see is what you get. There's no special editing, horrible sound, horrible pictures, the whole 9 yards. So we are currently doing the Alex Cross J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood. It is cold in my house. James Patterson's Alex Cross series, Victoria Thompson's Gaslight series, and the Julie McQuinn Time Travel series. And today is Flashback Monday. Flashback Monday, where we talk about all these delicious books. Are you ready? Maybe you'll find something in historical. Maybe you'll find something in mystery. Maybe you'll find something in contemporary romance. Or maybe romantic suspense. Or maybe Harlequin. Or maybe erotica. Or maybe paranormal. There's about 60 plus books in today's review. So appreciate it if you'd hit this like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. I try really hard here to do my best here. So we're going to be talking about a lot of these books. I'm going to talk about this again, but they have the Rainbow Reading, multicultural and youth authors. Young readers today are lucky in that there is so much more to choose from, so many options, says Monica McCann, whose Indigo Summer Series opener launched the Kimami True young adult line for Harlequin in 2007. There are so many books out there that give young people a sense of self. It wasn't always so. McCann adds, I grew up in the city and urban area during the 70s and 80s. There weren't many books with protagonists I could identify with, not like there are now. Paranormal African-American author L.A. Banks, who reads standard romances and some racy stuff as a teen, was motivated by an English wizard and his cohort. What influenced me was reading Harry Potter to the kids in bed. I was as hooked as they were. And you have to read L.A. Banks' vampire series. I've got one. I've got a few, actually. I really thoroughly enjoyed that series, and you'll have to check it out. And if you do so, would you please also check my Black Authors video. It was an If Then on a Friday, and YouTube has shown it to literally nobody. I think it had 10 views the last time I checked. So I would really appreciate it if you would check that one out. I worked really hard on gathering books for Black authors from all different, from historical, contemporary, vampire, paranormal. I tried to cover a whole slew of prospective Black authors, and maybe you'll find something to read. I do recommend The Black Candle. When I picked it up, I thought it was going to be a voodoo-type New Orleans book, and it's that, but it's also a multi-generational relationship between great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, and child. It's an interesting book. You'll have to check it out. So let's get started with our reviews. You know, I didn't even check to see if I had that one. All right. So, if you watched my Highlander, if then the other day, let me fix this. If you watched, I'm having trouble with this today. If you watched my Highlander video, which no one has watched as of yet, so I don't know what's going on with YouTube and my If Then Friday videos, it would be helpful if they actually showed them to people, and maybe somebody would watch. I mean, there's millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of people out there, and my videos get 2 and 3 likes. I mean, 2 and 3 views. Not to mention likes. I mean, I would be helpful to get likes too. But I would really like the views. I really like people to see my videos. And YouTube just isn't showing them to people. So I'd appreciate it if you'd go look for them and share and talk about, especially the Black Author one. I worked really hard on that one. The time travel one. The forensic one, the homicide one, the FBI one. I work really hard on all of these, even my Flashback Mondays. I've been doing these for over a year now, and we started with 2007. We are now entering 2011, and these videos get very few views. Oh, I guess I should mention that this is the 2011 Romantic Times Book Review magazine. They have 252 book reviews in this magazine. Your mystery scene, your book page, your bookmark magazines, none of them carry as many books, review as many books as Romantic Times did. The only place that you will find a comparable amount or a greater amount, a huge greater amount, is Goodreads, because they do probably 20 or 30 or 40,000 books a month. Everybody gets on there and reviews books and add books. So, but back in the day, we didn't have Goodreads. All we had was this magazine. And this was where we got our stuff from. So, we're going to start out with a book that we talked about in the Highlander. We also did one on Scotland Yard, too, not to be differentiated from Highlander. And most of the books I do in this review got at least 4 stars. There are a few that got 3, but most of them are 4.5 stars. I try and stick to those particular books. The first one is Monica McCarthy, the Ranger. It got 4.5 stars. McCarty fans will be enthralled by the third Highland Guard novel. Against a richly historical and violent backdrop, she deftly weaves a surprising love story that demands a skillful writer's touch. Her exquisite prose makes this a book readers will treasure. Arthur Campbell, whose skills have earned him the name Ranger, is given a secret assignment by Robert the Bruce. He is to pretend to support for the British while spying for the Scots. When he saves Anna McDougall during a military ambush, he feels as if he has been struck by lightning due to her kindness. Anna, whose family supports the British, is attracted to Arthur. He is among the men who have answered her father's call to arms and sees him frequently. While he continually protects her from precarious situations, she is told to watch him, placing them closer together. Arthur has a great reason to despise Anna's father, but he cannot deny his passion for her. As the war heats up, they are drawn towards a dramatic climax. Sins of the Highland Devil. Sue Ellen WELFONDER. 4.5 stars. The first installment of WELFONDER's Highland Warriors trilogy continues a long tradition of well-written, highly emotional romances. This marvelous novel is rich in love and legend, populated by characters steeped in honor, to make for a sensual and emotional read. The Scots king has sent a royal decree to the lairds of MacDonald, Cameron, and Macintosh clans, who inhabit the glen of many legends, demanding that their feuding clans battle to the death. The clan of the last man standing will be awarded the glen. The others will be resettled. Katrina MacDonald, Laird Allisares, has long suppressed her feelings for Cameron's lad James. He also shares an unrequited love for her. While they attempt to keep their desires hidden, James convinces Alasdair and Kendrew McTarnish to follow a plan that will prevent the needless deaths of their clansmen. He hopes to ensure that the king will not take the glen from them. Unbeknownst to the lairds, their three sisters have devised a plan of their own. As the day of the terrible battle nears, the tension and emotions of all involved continue to ratchet upward until the startling climax. A group anthology. Speaking of the Bridgertons, Julia Quinn, Eloise James, Connie Brackaway, 4.5 stars. This triple threat of talent delivers a delightful continuum set around a wife hunt at a country house party. Each author takes on a different romance and characters, enhancing the plot by infusing her unique style into each novella. When the horse-crazy Earl of Browley, Hugh Dunn, decides to marry, he asks his sister, Lady Caroline Finchley, to find him a wife. A romantic Lady Caroline plans to make a more than one match by inviting several ladies and dashing gentlemen to her house party. She just isn't sure who will end up with whom. There are gentlemen, her brother, who's more concerned with horses than people, but he does think one woman is more alluring than a stallion. There's Captain Neil Oakes, a war hero who loves deeply and never forgets who or what he wants. Lastly, there's the newly minted Earl of Chambers, who doesn't even know if he wants a wife. The ladies include Miss Gwendolyn Passmore, whose shyness keeps suitors at bay. Quite her opposite is the outspoken Miss Catherine Peyton, whose nature chases some men away and draws others closer. Rounding out the party is Lady Georgina Sorrel, a widow with no plans to remarry. Put this cast of characters together and let the games begin. Now, I'm not sure why this book is... I'm always surprised because I see them as paranormal, and the magazine puts them in historical. So that's just really weird. Maybe I don't have this one. Just I thought I did. Hold on a second. Okay, I guess I don't have it, but we will do it. The Immortal Champion. 4.5 stars. The captivating Immortal Brotherhood series continues as another cursed warrior search for the woman who can set him free. Even readers who are unfamiliar with the series will enthralled by Hendrick's masterful storytelling and talent for seamless blending magic, myth, and romance. See, I always put it in paranormal. For 200 years, Gunnar the Red has lived as a man by night and a bull by day because of a sorcerer's curse. Forced to stay in the forest, he despairs of ever breaking the curse. The bitter cold and longing for companionship send him to Richmond Castle, where he rescues Lady Eleanor de Neville from a fire. Eleanor is transfixed by the warrior and kisses him as a reward. Though betrothed, she realizes Gunnar is only the man she can love. He leaves not knowing he carries her heart until the day he returns and realizes the power of her love redeems his soul. Laura Lee GUHRKE. One of these days I'll put these books in order. Wedding of the Season. 4.5 stars. In the first of her Abandoned at the Altar trilogy, spinning off from the Bachelor Girl Chronicles, GUHRKE captures the nuances of the Gilded Age. Though perfectly pitched dialects, social graces, and burgeoning of the libertarian woman, she takes the concept of second chance at love to a new level and creates a deep-side romance that wins hearts and minds. 6 years ago, Lady Beatrix Danbury was abandoned by her fiancé, William Duke of Sutherland, 2 weeks before their wedding, after she refused to accompany him to Egypt on a dig for King Tut's tomb. Though they've been childhood sweethearts and very much in love, Beatrix couldn't leave England and Will couldn't stay. Now, as she's ready to marry another, Will returns, forcing her to answer question everything about her always dutiful, ever perfect life. Will decides to win her back with an entire month at the house party in Cornwall to court Beatrix. Will gently and lovingly shows her what she gave up and what she might have if she can put love first. Need to do this. My own sense of mind. I knew. This one. That one. I had the page number wrong. Hello. Hello. How are you? This is a co-host we haven't seen in a long time. Here he is. The boy. Now, if we had named him, if we had gotten him as a kitten, he'd have been Sylvester. And you can tell why. But the rescue place named him Casanova. And he's around the house, he's chicken. Because he's afraid of the girls. He's the oldest, and he's absolutely petrified of the girls. And I tell people he's afraid of girls, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, he doesn't come near you. Like, let me rephrase that. He's afraid of other girl cats. He's not afraid of me. He's afraid of girl cats. He's lived here through many, many cats, many female cats. And, where'd he go? And I am freezing. My house is cold. He's afraid of cats. Now, where is this book that I am looking for? Because it's not here. I am sorry. There is no special editing in this podcast. Men must love kilts. Oh, it only got 3 stars. Maybe we should skip this. I'll put it in just for the hell of it. Because it's got a sexy cover. Now, I did this video a while back, and part of the magazine mentioned that publishers have 3 seconds to get your attention as you walk through the bookstore. So the cover's got to be eye-catching so that they will catch your attention, so you will pick the book up and go, I like this, and take it home and purchase it. So they only have 3 seconds. So I think this is a cover that would catch your attention. MACKAY, Sue Ellen Wolfonder's alter ego, displays her love of all things Scots in a charming, lightweight, fast-paced tale without much conflict or character development. However, it's a book so easy to read, it's ideal for a quickie before bed. His betrothed's death runs Magnus McBride into a berserker. Vowing revenge on the Norsemen, only one thing soothes him, visions of beautiful women and the love they make. Far away in time and space, Margot Menlove lives a quiet life in New Hope, Pennsylvania, dreaming of the braw Scotsman in her book. She never expects to find a man to match her dreamboat until she wins a trip to Scotland. When she leaves the tour, she picks up an unusual stone and is swept into battle facing Magnus. The warrior is stunned to see his mystery woman before him. Not only that, the Viking magically disappears and she's nude. The instant attraction he feels is shocking, and Mango is thrilled to see the living version of her hero. In a matter of days, she fits into his arm and his world, helping him fight off the powerful evil and his hatred. Okay. Where's it? A lady's slipper. That one right there. The lady's slipper. 4.5 stars. Swift's eye for detail on this language argument, this atypical debut. The novel delivers a masterful social commentary on 17th century English politics and the beginnings of the Quaker movement unfolding around a rare bloom. Compelling and intriguing, this is a well-told story full of wonderful prose, surprising events, if it's a vivid addition to the genre. Far from London, where Charles II is on the throne, but where political upheaval hides under the surface, artist Alice Livingston becomes obsessed with the rare orchid known as the Lady Slipper. She steals the flower from newly converted Quaker soldier Richard Wheeler. Wheeler is determined to reclaim the flower. He's not only the one searching for the plant. Alice's patron and Wheeler's commanding officer, Sir Geoffrey Fiske, believes that the bloom is valuable enough to boost his finances. Believing the Quakers and Richard are planning a rebellion, Fiske sends his son to investigate. Suddenly, Alice is accused of murder and imprisoned with Wheeler. Alice and Richard plan on an escape, unaware of the political storm they're entering in. Interesting. Okay. Vicky Drilling. How? Aw, man, I have that. I know I have that. I didn't see that before. I tried to do these in order, but I didn't. Vicky Drilling, How to Marry a Duke. Four stars. Drilling's delightful debut combines the rituals of Regency courtship with TV's The Bachelor. Even when the pacing flags, the inherent charm of the characters, especially the Dowager Duchess, keeps the page flying until the surprising and satisfying conclusion. Tristan, Duke of Shelbourne. Tristan, Duke of Shelbourne, is determined to find a wife, but all he sees about him are the silly chits. Then he meets Tessa Mansfield's matchmaker to the ton, whose wit and beauty intrigue him. When Tristan hires her to find him a wife, she is determined to succeed. She organizes a contest that 24 debutantes desiring to be a duchess. As the contest moves from a drawing room to the boats, ballrooms to the opera, elimination begins. But when Tristan steals a kiss from Chester, the rules change. Now, don't you think 24 is a bit much? Don't you think that they would be better off with 12? Because, on a TV show, it's one thing. And they want to last a season, or they want to last 13 or 14 shows. But I would think it'd be hard to keep track of 24 individuals in a book. You would have to get to know all the characters. You would have to establish characterization. And that seems a little much for me. 24 would seem a little much. So let's move on here. Julia Latham, Sin and Surrender. See. There it is. There you go. That's a little bit better. Sin and Surrender. Four and a half stars. Latham Medieval is a story full of emotional depth destined to move readers who will be enraptured by the historical backdrop as well as the deeply touching love story between honorable characters. This is a book that's not easily forgotten. When Paul Hilliard's parents are killed, he and his brothers are rescued by the League of the Bat Blade and he is raised by one of its members. Years later, he overhears a fragment of the conversation that implies that the League believes the end justifies the means. No matter who gets hurt, he resigns from the Blades and leaves England. Upon his return, he is summoned by his father and asked to help the League by protecting the king against an assassination plot. His bodyguard on the mission is Juliana Grisham, who was once his student. Juliana is to protect him. Wait a minute. A girl is to protect a guy who's a guard. That's a little confusing. Julian is to protect him, something he finds incredibly. More surprising is the desire that he sparks between them. As their actions lead them closer to a traitorous nobleman, Paul must let Juliana do her job while she still protect. Huh? You got me confused. Okay. Uh, alright. Moving on. Maybe typing this list up wasn't the thing. I usually write it out. Um, Megan Hart, Precious and Fragile Things. Four and a half stars. Well-known erotica author Hart plunges into the mainstream fiction genre with this haunting, devastating, heart-wrenching tale. She masterfully weaves every offhand mention of a seemingly incidental detail, every potential eyebrow-raising plot point together in service to her story, and the resulting dramatic climax, which then becomes believable thanks to Hart's skill. Readers will sympathize with Gilly even as they question her motives, as Todd becomes, while not entirely redeemable, a nuanced, pitiful case. This story will stay after you long after you put the book down. Jilly Solomon is an overworked, overtired, overwhelmed mother. She finished up her errands and stepped at traffic light when a man with a knife slides into the passenger seat and tells her to drive. So Gilly's nightmare begins. Although a very small part of her, the part that Gilly doesn't often give voice to, thinks that maybe now she finally gets some rest. Jilly and Todd, as the carjacker is named, are soon sequestered in a cabin in the woods, snowbound, as Jilly's hope for escape dwindles. Will she pay the momentary lapse with the rest of her life? Not good. No, I thought I saw this. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Fern Michaels, Deja Vu. 4 stars. If you've got a tough job, call in sisterhood to get it done. You didn't think they were going to accept those president's pardons and then sit on their laurels, did you? Michael's long-running series never disappoints, and the lady's latest adventure will keep readers turning the pages into the night. The women of the sisterhood are bored. With their immunity firmly in place, the ladies are leading calm and peaceful lives. Happily, they presented with the opportunity to finally deal with Henry Call Me Hank. Jellicoe, the man who nearly maneuvered them into disbanding as he took a run at the seat of power. When the president runs out of patience with the FBI, CIA, and Homeland Security's combined inability to run down her number one enemy, she turns to the sisterhood for help. In taking out this murderer, as usual, despite their lack looks, money, and charm, the vigilantes take on the case with a ruthless viciousness that even hardens the feds into their shininess. Uh, I know. Um, Love, Honor, and Betray. 4 stars. In the 8th installment of this series, Robbie has done the impossible by completely transforming Philander's Minister Curtis into the man of God. His vocation requires him to be. This book has it all: a riveting storyline, well-defined characters, and plenty of drama. The Reverend Curtis Black faces a seemingly impossible dilemma. His wife, Charlotte, hates his illegitimate 2-year-old daughter, Katrina, who lives with them following the death of her mother. When Curtis refuses to send Katrina away, Charlotte has 2 extramarital affairs, one with someone from her past and one unknowns to her, with someone from Curtis's past. While his marriage is in turmoil, Curtis contemplates seeking solace with someone else, but for once he does not yield to temptation. He tries valiantly to get Charlotte to work on their marriage and to accept his daughter. Tragedy strikes for their son and for their family as Charlotte and Curtis' past deeds come to haunt their family. Interesting. Um, that I did that one. Lynn Schoenberg, The Best Laid Plans. Sorry, the lighting isn't all that great. 4 stars. The effects of recession, money trouble, and unemployment is something we can all relate to. But this book proves that it's not impossible to bounce back and will provide readers with some hope for the future. Schoenberg also shows us that having money doesn't mean you will have high esteem, and that even the elite are struggling to find their way. There are instances where, despite the lack of funds, the characters still indulge in extravagances, which somewhat negates the growth of the characters. Truman Newman has it all: twin teenage daughters who are little to no trouble, a best friend who has successful newscaster, and a husband whose job allows her to stay at home and live a life of luxury. But when he admits he lost his job 3 months ago and checks start to bounce, Truman must take matters into her own hands. With the support of her best friend and the family's lawyer, they start a call girl service. Huh. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Um, thought I had BREE DESPAIN, The Lost Saint. Ah, sorry. The Lost Saint. 4 stars. DESPAIN has created a romantic, fast-paced novel that will leave fans desperate for the next in the Dark Divine series. Grace's feisty attitude, her stubborn belief in herself, and her kick-ass philosophy are refreshing when compared with the multitude of helpless paranormal young adult heroines. She's always got a ring. She's always got a ring during a video. Always. Please check out my New Year's Eve video, Dirty 30, for her identity. Grace is determined to find her brother Jude, who disappeared after being turned into a werewolf. A bizarre crime has become more frequent in their town. Grace begins to think they are connected to Jude's whereabouts. When her investigation puts her in a nasty situation, she's rescued by a handsome stranger. Grace befriends Talbot. He's new in town and he can't help but trust him. As Daniel becomes mysteriously distant, Grace turns to Talbot and unconsciously begins to give in to the wolf. Despite the mysterious warning coming from Jude, Grace lets her guard down. She and Daniel patch things up before the trap is sprung. I thought I had another one. Was I specifically... I went and got it. Oh, here we go. Rachel Vincent, My Soul to Steal. 4.5 stars. This is the kind of book that ups the ante in teen literature. The characters are true to life in a way not often captured by young adult authors. Vincent writes dialogue as if she spends her days haunting the hallways of her local high school. The love triangle is fantastic. The plot weaving is subtle enough that the readers feel let her in on a secret rather than the blind heroism, which seems to have been the major motivation for action in past Soul Screamers. Novels, this plot is driven by more relatable impulses, love, friendship, and jealousy. Still reeling from Nash's frost-fueled betrayal, Kaylee Kavanaugh is hoping for a quiet second semester to catch her breath, but she and her friends are in for another hellish adventure when Nash's creepy ex-girlfriend shows up. Sabine is literally a nightmare, and she's got nothing to lose. She wants Nash back, and she's willing to do anything to make it happen. Inspirational. The Girl in the Gatehouse. 4.5 stars. This book has scandal, mystery, secrets, and a budding romance. The characters are written in such detail the reader will forget they are fictional. KLASSEN has outdone herself with the latest novel. Her writing is comparable to Jane Austen. She writes with passion, and readers will not be able to put this book down. In 1813, Maria Audrey has been banished to a distant relative's estate after stirring up a scandal her family wanted to bury. She is assigned to live in the gatehouse, which is on the very tip of the grounds, away from everyone and everything. She supports herself and her servant the only way she knows how. She writes novels in secret under a false name. Captain Matthew Brandt has leased the estate to show the woman he loves that he is worthy of her, despite the fact that her father believes Matthew is not high society enough for his daughter. When Matthew meets Mariah, he is intrigued by her, but at the same time he realizes he must keep his distance in order for his plans to come to fruition. When a mystery comes to light, Mira and Matthew must work together to solve it. Sounds good. See, there are new Courting Miss Aimsell. Now, for some reason, I ended up with an audiobook. But I love audiobooks. A lot of those books over there are audiobooks too. If you look at them, there are some audiobooks up there. Courting Courting Miss Amesel, 4.5 stars. The phenomenal story of a courageous, see if I can, has that, does that look better? Of a courageous young teacher who wishes to make a difference in the lives of parents and children will challenge the reader to understand the suffragette movement and how one woman makes peace with her inner struggles by finding support and facing her fears. Local suitors will not persuade Miss Edith Amsel, the new school teacher in Walnut Hill, Nebraska, to accept their romantic advances. She's too busy teaching her brand of well-rounded education in the town's one-room schoolhouse. Her outlandish teaching methods include activities like collecting leaves, catching bugs, and making snow angels, which has the town up in arms. Joel Townsend is happy that his nephews will have a female teacher after enduring a ruthless man in the classroom for 2 years. Joel is raising the boys after the parents' untimely death, and he thinks that they would benefit from a woman's influence. Well, of course. Of course, of course, of course. Angel Harp, Michael Phillips. Sorry about the lighting. 4 stars. Philip pays homage to his second home by rewarding readers with a view of Scotland's picturesque scenery, entertaining folklore, and enthralling history. This beautifully written story about rediscovery will refresh readers and inspire them to hope in a second chance. 46 years after her husband's death, 40-year-old harp teacher Marie Buchanan realizes her life is in a rut. Yearning for adventure and fulfillment, Marie packs her bags and travels to Scotland for the sabbatical she and her husband always dreamed about. While sightseeing, she happens upon a small coastal village and decides to stay for a while. It's not long before the town and its quirky people captivate her. She soon catches the eye of the men. Aww. Digitalis, 4 stars. Ronnie Koenig. Book 2 in the Discord Heroes series plants cowboy center stage. International intrigue, action, and romance combined for a story sure to get the reader's blood pumping. Kendrick's eye for detail and her army brat upbringing lends audacity to this pulse-pounding story. Former Marine sniper Colton Cowboy Neely is recovering from a life of bad choices. Piper Bloom is hiding from life and the assassins gunning for her family. When she begins Cowboy to help her extract her father from Israel, he petitions the group of Nightshade to consider the mission. The team agrees, and soon they're heading straight into the Holy Land to find and grab Piper's dad. I wonder where that is. I don't even think I've looked. Oh, 3 stars. That's why I didn't do it. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Oh, nope. Melody Carlson, Never Been Kissed. Uh, 4 stars. Carlson writes a realistic story that shadows teenage girls, how their choices influence others. Main character Elsie dreams of having her first kiss, hopefully before she turns 16. Peer pressure and a friend's bad advice lead Elsie on a treacherous path. This book gives a powerful message of how young girls can respect themselves and hold true to their integrity. With Elsie's 16th birthday coming up, she can't help but daydream about her first real kiss. Starting the school year in a new town, Elsie feels like this might be the brand new start she needs. When a cute, popular boy in school starts to pay attention to Elsie, she gets swept up in a secret relationship with him. What starts out fun and exciting leads to her being accused of sending vulgar pictures and text messages. Will the truth come out? I hope so. Suzanne Woods Fisher. Oh, this only got 3 stars. We'll just go through it quickly. I try and only do 4 stars. Third, in the Lancaster County Secrets is packed with romance, secrets, betrayal, and forgiveness. Learning to forgive those who have betrayed everyone around them. Then there are times throughout the story that the characters seesaw back and forth about making a decision which causes the book to drag. So that's what happened there. That one. Shall we move on? Sci-fi fantasy. Joe Walton, 4.5 stars. This is a book for anyone who has been an outsider, for anyone who has lost someone they love, for anyone who loves books. Told through series entries in Marina's diary, the story makes readers privy to her inner thoughts, hopes, and fears while away at school during the aftermath of a terrible tragedy. It's about how you go living after you save the world, when the world doesn't even know or care that it's been saved. Marina is 14 years old and has already lived through so much. Her half-mad and half-abusive mother tried to bend the spirit world to her will, and in stopping her, Marina's twin sister was killed. And Marina herself was gravely injured. Now in the custody of her father, she barely knows she is sent to a boarding school in England, far from her family and her beloved Welsh landscape. Finding solace in science fiction novels, Marina tempts fate and her mother by attempting magic at school in order to find companionship in an increasingly hostile environment. Okay. That sounds like more like real life than sci-fi, but I guess what happened with saving the world was sci-fi. So let's move on. Jane Ann Krentz, Into Deep, 4.5 stars. The always awesome Krentz begins her Looking Glass trilogy by giving fans just what they've been clamoring for. Fallen Jones story. Fallon has been on an intriguing if somewhat aggravating presence throughout the Arcane series, so watching him get his romantic comeuppance is pure pleasure. The story has plenty of the patented Krentz combo of humor, sexy sizzle, and jeopardy. Readers are getting their money's worth. As the head of Jones & Jones Paranormal Investigations, Fallon puts his chaos theory to excellent use, but his reclusive and caustic nature has a tendency to irritate. He needs an assistant, but with him being based in a small town of Scargill Cove, the choices are limited. Until Isabella Valdez comes to town. Isabella is a finder talent on the run after being framed for conspiring to sell para weapons. She is also feared that her grandmother was murdered. Coming from a family of conspiracy believers, Isabella has the magic touch when dealing with Fallon. Will they find romance? We shall see. Sherry Adair, one of my authors, 4.5 stars. Adair returns to her romantic suspense roots with an underwater treasure hunt that is thrilling and hazardous. This book introduces the Cutter brothers, who are destined to have their own adventure. The author doesn't make it easy for protagonists as they struggle to overcome emotional roadblocks that their pasts have created. Non-stop action pays off the treachery and danger. When you add in the sensuous sizzle, you have a full Adair package. Teal Williams, master marine mechanic and certified diver, has a distant relationship with her father, Sam. When she learns he's dying of cancer, Teal takes a job working with Zane Cutter of Cutter Salvage to be near him. Having been burned by a man before, Teal wants nothing to do with Zane romantically. For Zane's part, he can't believe the scrawny kid he once knew is a grown-up Teal. Zane is on the verge of making the salvage of a lifetime as he discovered the location of a Dutch frigate that was lost in 1622 while carrying treasure. Let's go dig up the Titanic. Oh, wait, we can't. It's disintegrating. Teal Williams is content with her career as a shipmaster mechanic until Zane Cutter, the Casanova of the Caribbean, makes her an offer she can't refuse. Sounds good. Shall we get to it? How did this get on here? Allison Brennan, 4.5 stars. Love me to death. Suspense Maven Brennan kicks off a new series featuring Lucy Kincaid. Readers met Lucy in Fear No Evil when she was a teen and surviving victim of a rapist killer who showcases crimes online. Family relationships tie many of Brennan's novels together, allowing her to utilize previous protagonists, and this is no exception. Twists and turns in the dark drama make it creepy and compelling. It has been 6 years since Lucy Kincaid killed her kidnapper Adam Scott. As Lucy wants to find out if she's been accepted into the FBI Academy, she works for an organization that monitors paroled sex offenders. When Lucy discovers that her monitoring program is being used to find and execute parolees rather than send them back to prison, she is horrified. She's going to work with Sean to fix it. To see what happens there. Let's get on with it. Alright, we talked about this lady in my last video. Which 7? How did I? No, that's not right. That is not right. I did something wrong. He's here. I've seen him. We talked about this lady. I made a point. I did a whole video on her the other day. I got out all my books. And I did a whole video on her. So please check that out. Oh, wait a minute. That was Miller. That was Linda Lam Miller. But we talked about this lady too. Kat Martin. This is it's listed as a trilogy, but I will tell you that it's a quad. We have Against the Storm, Against the Law, Against the Fire, and the one that's featured in this book, Against the Wind. And this is the first novel of her new Rains Wind Canyon trilogy. See, it says trilogy, and I'm telling you, it's a quad. Martin brings us a rugged hero, a strong-willed heroine, and a story filled with romance, grit, tension, and suspense set in Wyoming mountains. When his housekeeper rents out a cottage on his ranch, the last person Jackson Rains expects to see as his new tenant is Sarah Allen, who humiliated him in high school. Jackson doesn't want her on his land, yet he gives in to her pleas and lets her stay. Soon, old feelings resurrect for Jackson and Sarah. When trouble appears, Sarah will need Jackson by her side in more ways than one. Kat Martin books proved to be hot. Just thought I'd point that out. We're going to do, when I gather them all up, I have to gather them all up. It's going to take a while. I got rid of a lot of them, and now I have to go and find them again because I want them all back. I'm very sorry I got rid of them. But Mary Burton, Senseless. I had this thing where I was like here and then out, and I was watching my videos back and I was like here and was like, it's like I need to come here, count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so that you get to see the cover. My own little piece of advice to myself. 4 stars. Dark, intense, and twisted, Burton's writing leaves an indelible mark on the genre. Not for the faint of heart. Senseless takes readers on a dark journey in the heroine's horrific past. Powerful characterization and expertly calculated plotting will have readers at Burton's mercy, turning the pages to read what happens next. I just wanted to... Oh. I had deja vu. Just thought I'd point that out. I didn't realize I had it. I thought I had. I guess I don't. On what should have been one of the most enjoyable nights of her life, Eva Rayborn is raped, branded, and left for dead. She wakes to find her attacker dead and a house on fire. Her attacker's rich father manipulates witnesses and evidence, and Eva goes to jail for murder. Now she's out, and someone's branding and killing her old sorority sisters. Detective Deacon Garrison is drawn to Eva, but there's something about her he doesn't trust. As more bodies turn up, Deacon's convinced she holds the key to solving the case. Why make your heroine go to jail? Especially she's innocent. All's fair in love and law. KM Daughters. I like her books. I like her books. Four stars. The fourth novel in the Sullivan Boys series is a touching, well-written story that will have readers coming back for more. The plot is somewhat familiar, but what makes the story really stand out are the well-developed protagonists and the crisp dialogue, believable characters, a fast pace, and a credible suspense subplot keeping the pages moving. Police Captain Patrick Sullivan is captivated by a songstress at an amusement park. Sinner Charlie is none other than the lawyer to do C.J. DeMarco. With a serial killer on the loose and personal problems, it's hardly the time for a relationship, but they're willing to see where their attraction leads. Things hit a bump when Charlie defends a man Pat wants prosecuted. Will the danger stalking Charlie bring them closer together? Hello, ma'am. How are you? How's it going? You gonna help mommy with her video? We did. We did Allison already. Tammy Hogue. Secrets. To the grave. 4.5 stars. The follow-up to last year's Deeper Than the Dead returns to Oak Knoll, California, and the aftermath of the See No Evil killer. The pre-internet setting highlights how much information technology we take for granted. As the story traces the past of possible killers and victims, it carries a hefty emotional punch and delivers a spine-chilling suspense. While Oak Knoll is awaiting the trial of See No Evil killer Pete Crane, artist Marissa Fordham is viciously stabbed and mutilated. Miraculously, 4-year-old Haley Fordham survives being nearly strangled, but can she provide any answers? Newlyweds Annie Navarre and Leon and FBI agent Vince Lynone are brought into the case by Detective Tony Mendez. Can Annie unlock the identity of the bad monster from Haley's mind? Meanwhile, Tony and Vince trace Melissa's life and find that nothing is as it appears. The scary peeps. He's right up there with King. The scary peeps. The peeps that will give you nightmares. The books that you do not read in bed. You read them during the daytime. In bright light. You don't read these in nighttime in bed. Mr. Kuntz. What the Night Knows, 4.5 stars. Kuntz takes it ominous and creepy to a whole new level as he ratchets up tension to truly frightening levels. With the characters made vulnerable by their all-too-human failings, Kuntz has created a spine-tingling story that will definitely make the readers want to keep the lights on. Like I said, read it in full daytime. Do not read it in bed. 2 decades ago, Alton Turner Blackwood slaughtered 4 families, but was killed by the sole survivor of his last attack. 14-year-old John Calvino today John is homicide detective, happily married with 3 kids. John's peace is shattered when 14-year-old Billy Lucas kills his own family. The parallels between Lucas and Blackwood murders are chilling. When Billy even repeats the final words Blackwood spoke before John killed him, John suspects that Blackwood has somehow managed to return from hell. If the pattern holds, then John's family will be next. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Better go check that out. Scared to death. Wendy Staub. 4 stars. Scared to Death is aptly titled. The momentum and chills keep going throughout the entire book. While it may take readers a little while to get all of the character traits, each one is richly written with his or her own personality and quirks. Some of the characters have been seen before in previous Stroud novels. Alyssa Calvin and Marin Quinn have not seemed like they have much in common, but one very important thread holds them together. They both lost the same little boy. Now they're both trying to move on with their lives. Alyssa is in the process of adopting another child, while Marin is having a hard time after finding out that her husband isn't who she thought he was. However, a chain of events will bring these 2 women together. Interesting. So, that one. The girl in the green raincoats. Wait a minute. Let me find it. The girl in the green raincoats. 4 stars. Yes, ma'am. Come here. Come here. Fine. Just look at me. Laura Lippman. The girl in the green raincoat. Tess, I got 4 stars. Tess Morgan is back and spunkier than ever. While short, this is a wonderful read. Lippman is really advancing her characters, pushing and challenging them. As always, Tess is a great character with an original and snarky voice. Lippman is an engaging writer, one who is never afraid to take risks and pays off in The Girl in the Green Coat. As a private investigator, Tess Mohan is not used to being idle. Now that she is on bed rest, she's pretty much going out of her mind with boredom, until she sees a mysterious woman outside a window and begins watching her. One day, the woman's dog is running loose, and Tess becomes convinced that something has happened to the woman. Tess is unable to investigate herself. She enlists the help of her boyfriend and friends. The case becomes more complicated, and it is up to Tess to solve it by putting the puzzle pieces together. Interesting. Laurie Armstrong, The Mercy Kill. 4 stars. Mercy Gunderson is troubled, tough, and vengeful as this story opens, battling alcohol and the company that wants to run an oil pipeline through her land. This is a harsh tale filled with hard people, but like South Dakota landscape, is compelling. After 20 years in the Army, Mercy is having trouble adjusting to civilian life on her family's ranch, so she jumps at the opportunity to work at a local watering hole. After Jason J. Hawley is murdered on the parking lot after a bar brawl, Mercy starts her own investigation into the death of the man who saved her life, especially after she realizes the local law hasn't been expressing interest. Jayhawk had been working for the oil company, trying to convince locals that the pipeline was a good idea. Mercy knows tempers ran high over the proposal, and there are plenty of suspects to go around. Yup. So let's see. Um, let's see. Call me. Oh, here's the author too. If you want to know what Susan Elizabeth Phillips looks like, that's her, and that's her book. Um, 4.5 stars. Phillips' newest romp tosses together progeny from three of her previous classics. Oodles of humor and some paths are featured in this tale of mismatched romance. The denizens of Winnett, Texas are both nutty and hot to be messed with, especially when it comes to their Saint Teddy Boudin. Meg Corden is being given a lesson in tough financial love from her family, so her resonances are slim when she arrives in Wynette from her best friend Letty Jerk's wedding to Ted Boudin. It doesn't take long for Meg to realize that Lucy is having second thoughts. When Lucy bails, everyone in town blames Meg for the breakup. Since she owes money for her hotel and Ted is out for vengeance, Meg is in hot water and finds herself in employment hell as the town takes turns beating on her. Strangely, after a while, Meg begins to see the good sides of the town's characters. Okay, I think I'm confused. Um, Christy Ridgway, Then He Kissed Me. 4.5 stars. In the second in the Three Kisses trilogy, readers take a trip to Napa wine country, this time to match up tomboy Basie's sister. Ridgway gives readers great romance without the need to bring in killers, Navy SEALs, or vampires. Although his sister has found her happily ever after at the Basie Winery wedding chapel, things are not going quite so smoothly for Stevie or the winery. She tried to keep out of the family business, opening a limo service and moving out of the family home, but now little sis is laid up with a broken ankle and the wedding part of the business must go on. Stevie is going to have to step up, which is really awkward because the wedding is between her ex and a princess. The princess comes with a brother, Jack, who is very protective of his little sister. He is also handsome enough to curl like girls' toes. Not that tomboy Stevie gives in for that stuff, but when she's caught in full lip lock with Jack, she finds herself in engagement. Okay. Robin Carr, Promise Canyon. 4 stars. For the lovers of Carr Virgin River series, this book will be another heartwarming installment that gives readers more of the people in town that they've come to adore. Navajo Clay Tomahawk is a new veterinary assistant and horse whisperer for the Virgin River's favorite veterinarian. When Lily Yazzie of the Hopi Nation meets Clay, she's determined to keep her distance. As a teen, she had her heart broken by a boy from a Native American community, and she's not interested in repeating history. There's just one problem. She can't control her attraction to Clay as they work with the horse with the rescue. So... Oh, I think I did all that. Off Kilter, Donna Kaufman, 4 stars. Uh, Kaufman's second book about Kinloch, Scotland, features sensitive and heartwarming Rowan Macaulay, whose tenderness and concern in dealing with an emotionally fragile woman is the highlight of the story, although the sexual heat is good too. Photojournalist Tess has retreated to the island of Kinloch in an attempt to repair her fragile psychic. She agrees to help the islanders with some photo shoots and quickly decides that handsome, charming Roan is a shallow womanizer. Roan finds Tess cold and abusive. Then, as they learn about each other, they come to realize that first impressions can be deceiving. See. Go on. I made a list. There's 62 books. in this series. We are halfway through. Sophie Gunn, how sweet it is. Mm, there you go. How sweet it is. 4 stars. A delightful romance that introduces an intriguing quartet of women. The hero struggles with his feeling of guilt, and the heroine's determination to not need a man in her life makes for an equally entertaining story. After her 14-year-old daughter father's calls to say that he will be coming for a Christmas visit, Lizzie Carpenter shares her wish for a handyman to fix up her house. With her friends in the enemy club, these women were definitely not friends in high school, but now they are friends who will tell each other only the truth. Dante Tay Giovanni is in town to give money to a college student whose mother was killed in a car accident. Tay blames himself for. He overhears Lizzie's wish and starts doing repairs to the house during his sleepless nights, thus beginning a romance. Okay. Donna Kaufman. Oh, we did that. Off kilter. Anna Windsor's. Now I have all the books in this series but this one, so go figure. Because I kept looking and I kept looking and I kept looking, and I'm like, how can I not have these? But I don't. Um, Wait a minute. Let me go look. Okay. All right. Yes. Ah, see? Found it. Captive Soul. 4.5 stars. The middle chapter of Windsor's back-to-back series takes her protagonist on a harrowing journey. Her characters are never in for an easy ride as she places both physical and emotional challenges in their path. The complexity of the world of the Dark Crescent sisters is a big reason why Windsor's books are so intriguing and hard to put down. One of the genre's consistently excellent players. When the Fire Sybil Camille Fitzgerald and her squad defects Rakasha leader Strata and his troops, Camille was unable to kill Strata at his last moment because of a strange magic that passed between them. What Camille sensed but could not believe was that the soul of John Cole, which had been residing in Duncan, was shifted over to Strata's body. Knowing he would be killed on sight, John has been tracking Rashida on his own, while fighting to keep the remnants of Strata's essence trapped. Tarek, Strata's brother, has now risen to power and is gathering new allies for his strike. Against the Sibyls, Camille may find the answer to Rashada's defeat in an ancient post. So can she find it? We'll have to see. Um, Kiss at Your Own Risk. 4.5 stars. Rose gift for iconic humor will make any reader's day. The cast of characters unique and fun with a magical kind of romance the genre needs more of. This humorous read with some outrageous adventure has a sexy warrior and a black widow who's just trying to avoid nice guys and the curse that makes her kill. Alright, you need to stay here. You need to stay here because she will kill you. So, come here. You need to stay out of trouble. I don't need a fight. Okay? I don't need a fight. You need to stay up here. Okay? You need to stay over here because she will kill you. Go on. Go on up there. Let me fix my computer. But she will kill you. stay here where it's safe. Okay? She will kill him. I don't need hair flying around, okay? You stay here. Stay here where it's safe. Stay with me. Stay with mommy. Smokey will kill you. Okay. Kiss at your own risk. 4.5 stars. Rose gift for iconic humor will make a reader's day. The cast of unique and fun, magical kind of unique romance that genre needs more of. The humorous read with outrageous adventure has a sexy warrior and a black widow who's just trying to avoid nice guys. Okay. Trinity needs to hold out one more week without killing anyone, and the Black Widow's curse will be history. Difficult enough task without a handsome soldier asking for help and rescuing his friend, who was trapped with Devil's evil grandma. What else can you do with a high-stakes adventure but fall in love? Frostfire. 4.5 stars. Veal's Kindred books are back with another enthralling installment. It's a series that's pocket full of everything a reader could want. Mystery, excitement, treachery, and characters to love and despise. Frost depths with many layers to the plot, a fast pace to keep the readers turning pages. Lila is one of a kindred genetically enhanced with superior DNA. Her ability to read minds and communicate with animals has made her a target. Biotech company craves her DNA and will do anything, even kill, to get it. But they aren't the only ones Lila could fear. She is also being hunted by one of the only people she thought she could trust, another kindred. Not good. Not good. I keep looking for this one. It's another one of the ones that I'm positive I have, and I can't find it. Nina Bang's Eternal Prey. The third chapter in Bang's Outstanding Gods of the Night series focuses on one of a trio of raptors. The countdown to 2012 is accelerating, and Bangs continues to drop major clues to the origins of Finn and the Elven. As opposed to her more humorous series, Bangs doesn't skip on the gritty action. After his brother Rap was killed by vampires, Utah is making his personal quest to kill as many vampires as possible. And this is causing a problem. Oh, sorry. Since Finn and Elvin need the help of the local vampires if they're going to stop Seven from destroying Portland, Utah's human liaison Leah whose mother, Catherine, was the leader of Northeast vampires. Leah didn't agree with her now deceased mother's choices, but she does plan on becoming a vampire in the future. Utah and Leah soon discover there are a number of divided loyalties and motives complicating their battle to stop 0 and 9. Okay? Another one that I keep thinking I own. And I can't find. Oh, there it is. Oh. Oh, sorry. The Ascension. Oh, let me fix it. The Ascension. Four and a half stars. Best known for her Regency romances, Roan makes her transition to paranormal complex with ease. Her world building is complex and intriguing, and in addition to her compelling protagonist, she serves as a slew of secondary characters. Therapist Allison Wells always knew she was different, but the sudden increase in unusual abilities worries her. Carrick is an elite vampire warrior who fights for Endel against the death of vampires led by Commander Greaves. There is a centuries-old war going on for control of the mortal Earth and Second Earth. Endel and her warriors are losing ground to Greaves' army. Kendrick's new assignment is to protect a completely clueless Allison as she, called to ascension for both sides, can sense her immense potential power. When an astonished Allison is confronted by two winged vampires, one trying to kill her and one trying to save her, she realizes her life will never be the same. Vampire angels. I might have a problem with that. Maybe that's why I didn't keep it. That doesn't sound too vampire-y to me. Again, just a second. Sorry. Master of Smoke. 4 stars. The newest chapter in Magaverse series picks up after events from Master of Fire and explores what happened to the mysterious ancient being who is called Smoke. As this series has expanded, so has the complexity of Night's well-written supernatural world as it edges closer and closer to war. 5 years ago, Eva Roman survived an attack by a dire wolf miraculously without anyone to teach her about her new shapeshifter status. She has copied and kept her secret from her parents. Eva's anonymity is broken when she rescues a mystery man from a giant white dire wolf called Warlock. But because he can't remember his identity, Eve calls him David, not realizing that he is in fact an ancient sea's demigod called Smoke. Warlock used a spell to siphon off Smoke's magic, causing him to fracture in 3 different essences. Right? And I literally have 20 of her books, and I don't have this one. I have Demons, I have Midnight, but I don't have Dawn. So I'll have to, it's on my list. Those of you who don't know, I've started a wish list on Amazon. It's about 300 books. Full now, but it's not public yet because I haven't figured out how to make public. Besides the fact that I don't have fans to purchase stuff. I would need, several thousand followers maybe to get a fan or 2 in there. Yeah, we'll see. We'll wish one day, right? So Angel at Dawn. The sequel to The Devils at Midnight is upper installment Holly's upper novels. Holly inconsistently delivers scorching sensuality in a dark mystery plot. Here she combines her talent in a tale of the 1950s Hollywood film and vampires with a surprising twist. Grace Gowell is determined to make a name for herself as director. She's taken under the wing of director and producer Naomi Week to produce a movie, I Was a Teenage Vampire. Her first task is to convince Christian Duvall to take the leading role. She has a dark and unexplainable attraction to Christian. Soon someone starts gunning for her. Christian cannot believe his eyes. Nim, his maker, surely must be taunting him by bringing his lost love and betray her to him. He lost Grace 500 years ago. She's a symbol of death and betrayal, but he still loves her. Unfortunately, she doesn't remember him. Christian gets closer to Grace to try and trigger her memory, but sticking close to Grace means protecting her from a killer too. Okay. The Werewolf in Manhattan. I had a ton of these. I don't know what happened to them. Vicki Lewis Thompson. Thompson has a solid reputation on charming, witty, and fun paranormal writer, and her latest doesn't disappoint. Emma Gavin is a paranormal writer who pens books about werewolves. When she starts receiving creepy letters from a fan claiming to be a werewolf, she's assigned a bodyguard, the sexy Aiden Wallace. Only Aiden lives in different worlds from her in more than ways than one. He's rich and accustomed to living a manner she finds wasteful. Oh, and he's a werewolf. Aiden is heir to the Manhattan's most powerful werewolf pack, but Emma gets too close to the truth about their race. He's assigned to uncover what she knows. He's convinced that she doesn't know anything about werewolves. She just got lucky. Uh-huh. No. You know what I said about audiobooks up there? What can you do? 4 stars. Ruthless Game. On the heels of last year's Street game, FEEHAN brings back Mac McKinney's Ghost Walker team for another round of treachery and peril. Interesting, there is no serious conflict between the hero and heroine, but rather the story of their struggle to protect their unborn child. Upon escaping from Dr. Whitney's lab, Rose Peterson went on the run to protect her unborn child while she and Kane were both under Dr. Whitney's control. They were genetically paired and forced to reproduce. During a hostage rescue operation in Mexico with his ghost worker team, Kane senses that Rose is also in the compound. During the battle, Kane and Rose are separated from the team and must make their own way to safety. Rose is 8 months pregnant and not inclined to trust anyone except Kane. So we'll see what happens there. This only got 3 stars, but she's one of my authors. Seducing the Vampire. And the better. 3 stars. This is absorbing story that switches smoothly between the past and the present, with the majority of the storyline spent with the past. Those who enjoyed the darker, bloodier vampire tales will enjoy this. In 1785, Paris vampire Constantine wants blood-born vampire Vivian Lemoret, but Vivian has no desire to become any man's chattel. When her patron is murdered, Constantine attempts to take his place. Rias Hawk, vampire werewolf crossbreed, plans on revenge against Constantine for letting the one he loved die by seducing Vivian. Yet Rice and Vivian find themselves falling in love. So is Constantine, who extracts a terrible vengeance, bespelling her and letting Rice believe she's dead for 230 years. Okay. Okay. Blood Challenge. 4.5 stars. In Wilkes' outstanding loop-by series, the tremendous world-altering changes are gaining steam as the protagonist must adopt or fall. Although this main focus of the series has been FBI Lily Yu and her mate loop-by Prince Rule Turner, Rule's brother Benedict has been a significant presence in the books. In Blood Challenge, Benedict is pushed front and center. After Lily and Reuben Brooks are nearly killed in separate assassination attempts, the Lupi go on high alert. The prime suspect is Human's first leader, Robert Frere. As Benedict does reconnaissance around Frere's compound, he runs into Irene, who is on her own mission. Irene is part Sith and working with an individual being forced to help Frere. Since Benedict lost his chosen mate to death, he never expected the Lupi goddess to provide him with another. But the moment their eyes meet, Benedict and Irene are mated. Well, that was fast. We'll see how that goes. Guess I didn't get this one. Where is... Oh, there it is. Crimson Wind. Diana Farrell Francis. Yeah, I used to write in these a long time ago, and I hate the fact that I used to write in these. 4.5 stars. Max is back, and lucky for readers, her life hasn't gotten any less complicated. Frances' magical enslaved heroine is a riveting mixture of guts, compassion, and ferocious anger as she struggles with a world coming apart at the seams. Readers should hang on tight, for this second Horngate Witch's Tale is filled with massive danger and gritty struggles. With the magical guardians of the earth having declared war on humanity and any witches who don't side with them, Max and Gazelle, the witch who enslaved her, have come to uneasy truth. Gazelle has given Max permission to bring her human family, whom Max hasn't seen in 30 years, to Horngate for protection. So, with new shadow ally Alexander at his side, Max must cross treacherous terrain. Max will have to hurry, for in the heat of battle, Gazelle bargained away Max's life. Now, what's up with that? Secrets of the Demon. Roland's hot streak continues as she gives her fans another helping of urban fantasy goodness. Her heroine has gone from being almost complete loner to developing an integral cadre of friends. Relationships as demon summoner Kara Gillian is learning are tough, but for readers they add great complexity to the plot. Detective Kara is not sure there's a need to protect her eye on singer Lily Morden and her band. Either madhouse, but when Lita is nearly abducted by a golem, Kara and FBI agent Ryan Christoph realize there is a supernatural threat. As members of the band are murdered, Kara and Ryan try to unravel the reason behind the killings. Kara has even more on her plate due to her summoning relationship with demonic Lord Rizal. Although the demonic world is not inherently evil, its politics and power play a leading role. We'll see what happens there. A lady that does a lot of erotica books, excuse me. My Fair Succubi, Jill Miles. Jackie is back with her oh-so-difficult life. A hot, sexy fallen angel boyfriend and a hot, sexy vampire ex-boyfriend she couldn't stop thinking about. Poor Jackie. Miles' characters are spunky and will make you laugh out loud. When Jackie's boyfriend Noah asks her to marry him, her life rapidly turns tumultuous. Her best friend's inner demon rises to the surface just as Jackie and Noah are taken in by the Serum Council. The timing could be better, as Jackie takes a chance to escape only to fall into the waiting arms of her ex. Okay. Oh, there's a better picture. Harrison Quare. Caught off guard. Harley Quinn. Look at all these Harlequins. You see any other magazine doing that many reviews? Did you know that there's a Harlequin for if you want to marry a tycoon? If there's a Harlequin if you want to marry a doctor, lawyer, police officer. There's a Harlequin if you're pregnant. There's a Harlequin if you're black. If you're into NASCAR. If you're into just about everything, there's a Harlequin for that. One of my if thens was Harlequin. You could please check that out. Nobody's watched that either. Um, 4 stars. There's always danger lurking in the shadows of Hotel Heiress Annie Sobel's life. She doesn't like being watched unless it's a Blake Mitchell, a sexy bodyguard, and her best friend's older brother, whom she ends up betting before the end of the first chapter. Okay, that was a little fast. Lone Wolf, Karen Whidden. 4 stars. While visiting the site of her sister Juliet's death, Wolf shapeshifter and pack leader Anton Beck is beaten, kidnapped, and taken to a cave where he's reunited with Juliet's best friend, vampire huntress Makia Tars. Makia, who was with Anton the night Juliet died, has been locked away for weeks by men who want to kidnap her child. Danny, whom Anton sired and knows nothing about, Makia and Anton work together to save their daughter from those who would harm her because she's half vampire, half shapeshifter. Okay. Mira Lynn Kelly, front page affair. 4 stars. Nate Evans asked childhood friend Peyton List to engage in a pretend affair to distract the media from the real reason he disappeared from the public view. Peyton has been fighting her attraction to Nate for much of her life and tantalized by the opportunity to rekindle their friendship and shed her good Dale image. Nate makes it clear he can't offer happily ever after. As they recreate a media stir, the passion that flares between them creates their pact to be friends, threatens their pact to be friends only. A Little Texas Liz Chili. 4 stars. After her business partner uses their funds for personal items, Kate Newman needs to pay off the IRS. She attempts to blackmail her brother, Justice Mitchell, who's never acknowledged her as his. To get the money, Justice agrees if she'll spend 2 weeks with him and sends her former assistant Rick Mendez to pick her up. Kate's attracted to Rick, who's opening a center to rehabilitate gang members, but is determined to make up his own past. Okay. Robin Amos, Romancing the Chef. Ah, shoot. And we're gonna have a fight here in a minute. Sandy? Oh, it got 3 stars. When Amos lacks in originality, she makes up with her ability to paint a steady and active delving into the inner fears of her characters and an attention to detail. Friendly rivals in culinary school, Victoria Howard and Ace Brown are among the top chefs competing for a $100,000 cash prize. Catherine Mann, the 30-day fiancé. Photojournalist, 4 stars. Photojournalist Kate Hopper has already outed the secretive royal Medina family, but snapping a new photo of Prince Juan de Medina will garner her enough money to care for her mentally disabled sister. Too bad she's caught with the prince himself. I see a romance budding there. Second Chance Ranch, Leanne Harris. Four stars. The loss of his foot in Iraq has left Zachary McHugh depressed, and his sister and brother worried about his mental and physical health. They hope introducing Christopher Powell at the Second Chance Ranch, where she helps those with disabilities, will help Zach take a renewed interest in life. Point of no return. Four stars. Susan May Warren. Waylon is determined to get the job of travel pilot for Jet Sturker's new security company based in Prague. Though they're in a relationship, Jet says no and maybe returns to the States and spends the next year being a security pilot. Till the 9-year-old nephew vanishes in the country of Georgia. Now Jet and May must find her nephew and prevent an incident that could ignite war. Okay. We'll do it 2 adults before we finish. Shane McCray. I live for books. 1.5 stars. Stevie Love sees a heart-stopping mystery and a theme of second chances make this novel impossible to put down. The best part about the story is the natural progression of the relationship as opposed to 2 people rushing into bed. Building characterization is slow enough to keep the attractions high and juicy enough to leave readers wanting more. Journalist Kelsey Nichols flies to Arizona to write about the issues a small town has with illegal immigrants. She sees with a family that includes law enforcement officer Kate. The 2 immerse themselves in each other and unfolding mystery. What? What do you want? Unfolding mystery of the men who smuggled immigrants across the border. When they get too close, they get too close. Come here. And one more. Worry. Julia Templeton. The final installment of Templeton's Rachel of Rochester is a steamy, seductive, adventurous romantic. The author lures the characters into passion with the speed of a whirlwind. Sinful, handsome Rory Rayburn isn't famous along with his brothers for his sexual escapades along the Ton. But he knows time is running out on his bachelor days. When he's badly injured in a duel, he's taken to his brother's house where pretty maid Shannon O'Connor takes care of him. Rory is determined to discover secrets after he seduces her. Okay. Well, that's it. I could do a few more. So that was January 11th, January 2011, Romantic Times Book Reviews. I hope you will stay tuned for more. I hope you will go back and check them all out. Maybe you found a new author, maybe you found a new book to do. I would really appreciate it if you would let me know how it goes. don't forget to check out Special Next Generation Fridays, If Then Fridays, and my daily book reviews. We are doing James Patterson's Alex Press, Victoria Thompson's Gilded Series, and J.O. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood, and of course the Time series that I've totally fallen in love with. So please have a good day. Thank you.